Have you ever loved someone so deeply, only to realize they were asking you to choose between them and your own child? When love asked me to leave my child behind, I never imagined I would be here, sitting quietly on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall, asking myself how my life took such a painful turn. When I met my husband, I was already a mother. My daughter was not a secret. She was not a surprise. She was my world, and I made that clear from the very beginning. I told him my story honestly, how I became a single mother, how I struggled, how I learned to be strong for someone who depended on me completely. He listened. He smiled. He said all the right things. He told me he admired my strength. He told me he respected me. He told me he accepted me, all of me. I believed him. Before the wedding, my daughter and I lived together. It was just the two of us. She followed me everywhere, asked me endless questions, slept beside me on nights when the world felt too heavy. She knew about my husband, and she was excited. She called him Uncle then, always smiling whenever he visited. I thought we were building a family, but after the wedding, everything changed. One evening after dinner, my husband cleared his throat and said, "We need to talk." His voice was calm, but his words were anything but. He told me he had been thinking. He said marriage needed order. He said he wanted peace. Then he said the sentence that still echoes in my head, "I don't think your child should live with us." I laughed at first. I truly thought he was joking. But his face didn't change. He explained that she wasn't his responsibility, that she reminded him of my past, that it would be better if she stayed with a relative, maybe my mother, and visit sometimes. Visit, as if she were not my flesh, as if she were not the reason I wake up every morning. I felt something break inside me. I asked him if he remembered everything he promised me before we got married. I asked him if he understood what he was asking. He said he did, and that was what scared me the most. That night, I lay awake beside him, staring at the ceiling, while my daughter slept peacefully in the next room, unaware that her place in my life was being questioned. The next day, she asked me why I looked sad. I forced a smile. I told her I was just tired. How do you explain to a child that someone you trusted is trying to erase her? I felt torn in two. On one side was my marriage, something society tells us to protect at all costs. On the other side was my child, the one person who never asked to be born into complications, the one who only ever asked for love. I thought of all the nights I stayed up with her when she was sick, all the sacrifices I made, all the times I chose her without hesitation. And suddenly, the answer became clear. Love should never ask you to abandon your child. Marriage should never require you to become less of a mother. I realized that the problem wasn't that he wasn't her father. The problem was that he never truly accepted us, only the version of me that came without baggage. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know how this story will end. But I know one thing for sure. Any love that makes me choose between my happiness and my child is not love I can keep. Because before I was a wife, I was a mother. And I will always choose her